This is exactly the kind of fight I love to see. This is the energy we need when it comes to pushing back against ridiculous gun control nonsense. So here's the deal. After Congress passed what they've been bragging up as their big, beautiful bill, you know, the one that dropped the tax on suppressors, short-barreled rifles, and shotguns to zero, some of the top pro-2A organizations weren't satisfied, not even close. Groups like Gun Owners of America, GOA, the Firearms Policy Coalition, FPC, and a few others decided, you know what, that's nice, but we're going further. They're now taking the ATF to court, looking to obliterate the National Firearms Act altogether, at least when it comes to cans, SBRs, and SBSs. And honestly, I love to see it. They've filed this suit in the Northern District of Texas, which, let's be honest, is usually friendly turf for gun rights cases. But don't get too hyped expecting an overnight miracle. This is going to be a long haul, not some quick knockout. This will wind through the courts for years, maybe even landing at the Supreme Court. So buckle up. Here's what's really at stake. When Congress voted to slash the NFA tax to zero, they basically tore the guts out of the NFA's whole legal argument, because from the very beginning, the NFA's power rested on Congress's ability to levy taxes. GOA's Eric Pratt nailed it in a press release, saying, "Now that Congress erased the tax, the rest of the NFA is left hanging by a thread. We're ready to take this to court and finally scrap the Federal Registry once and for all." And he's dead right. The entire NFA was always propped up by the idea of taxation. Remember back in 1937, when the Supreme Court upheld the NFA in the Sonzinski case? They didn't do it because they loved gun control. They did it purely on tax grounds. No tax, no constitutional foundation. But here's the kicker, and probably what grinds your gears like it does mine. Even though Congress got rid of the tax, Uncle Sam still wants to keep that massive federal registry. As GOA put it in their video, the tax is the smallest part of the NFA's problems. That registry needs to go too. Killing the tax but leaving the list? That's only fixing half the problem. Couldn't agree more. Honestly, if I had to pick my poison, I'd rather pay a fee than have the government cataloging every single item I own. And I bet a ton of you feel the same way. The tax was annoying, sure, but the real nightmare is being tracked by a federal gun list. So for a lot of us, what we truly wanted was to get suppressors, SBRs, and SBSs completely out from under the NFA's thumb. Because otherwise, it's just Congress saying, "Cool, we won't charge you, but we're still going to keep tabs on all your stuff." That's textbook gun control. And the fight isn't stopping there. The Firearms Policy Coalition echoed exactly this in their own statement. They said, "While we're still working to get the NFA erased legislatively, we're proud to stand together and launch a new strategic court battle to challenge the NFA's constitutionality." And this isn't some fluffy symbolic stunt. They're filing very specific challenges, asking the courts to outright rule the NFA unconstitutional as it applies to these untaxed items, and to slam the brakes on the ATF's outdated enforcement. But let's keep it real for a second, because nothing in the legal world moves at lightning speed. Even if they land a win in district court, it'll be appealed. It's almost guaranteed to head for the higher circuits and eventually the Supreme Court. And while we've got a court that's pretty friendly towards Second Amendment rights right now, these things take forever to play out. What I really love, though, is how unified the pro-2A side looks. You've got gun makers and companies like Palmetto State Armory, Silencer Shop, BNT USA, plus advocacy powerhouses like GOA and FPC, all locking arms. That sends a huge signal: we're not rolling over. And who knows, this case is happening under a Trump administration ATF. Could mean less pushback. Maybe more, since the agency's still a mixed bag. There are folks in the ATF who hate gun rights and some who genuinely support them. Either way, it's about to get real interesting. I'm here for it. So what does all this mean for us gun owners right now? Bottom line, we can't afford to let up. These lawsuits we're seeing pop up, they're perfect examples of why. It's so easy to get lazy or start coasting when we've got an administration that's generally friendly to our rights. We slip into this mindset of, hey, things are going fine, no need to worry. But that's the exact wrong attitude to have. Sure, enjoy it while it lasts, but don't stop pushing. Keep your foot on the gas. Keep applying pressure to dismantle as many of these anti-gun laws as possible. Because here's the hard truth. Our political landscape resets every 4 years. Right now, we've got a more conservative-leaning government, and that's great for us. But in just one election, it could all flip on its head. If we don't take every opportunity to advance gun rights now, we risk waking up 4 years from now with a totally anti-2A leadership, and suddenly finding ourselves 10 steps behind where we started. That's why it's crucial to gain as much ground as we can today. Build that buffer so if things swing back the other way, we're not losing everything we fought for. And last thing before you head out, one thing's absolutely certain. Big tech and a whole lot of politicians would rather see gun content like this disappear. They don't want it showing up in your recommended feed. That means we're all in this fight together. This is part of the culture war, plain and simple. So you can help keep this message alive. Smash that like button, drop a comment, subscribe if you haven't, but most importantly, share this video with at least one other person. That's how we break through the algorithmic chokehold and keep our Second Amendment rights front and center. All right, guys, that's all I've got for today. Thanks for hanging out, stay alert, stay free, and I'll catch you in the next one.